So this exhibit provides an excellent opportunity for the Lancaster County Historical Commission and the Elizabeth Hutchinson Jackson Chapter to inspire our community to learn more about the American Revolution as we are on the eve of its 250th anniversary. This exhibit is a collaboration between the American Battlefield Trust and the Daughters of the American Revolution. It showcases items that are based on holdings within the DAR collections and highlights the choices that ordinary citizens made, whether to support king and country or support the patriot cause. And it uniquely also explores the people, places, and events which occurred in South Carolina. And one of the connections to this is that all of the illustrations were designed and drawn by Dale Watson, who is a South Carolina resident close to Mount Pleasant. He uses historical descriptions, images, and other resources to create stunning portraits of historical figures. In cases where there is no image that exists, he dives deep into the details, looks at backgrounds, looks at the attire for the appropriate where the person lived, and also looks at their descendants to come up with an image to represent that person. So at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Joe Greer, who is the president of the Lancaster County Historical Commission.
I want to extend a welcome to everyone to the 250th American Revolution Society type gathering that we have here today to open us this display. And on behalf of the Elizabeth Hutchinson Jackson DAR and Lancaster County Historical Commission, this is a sort of joint effort that we worked on to get this. So we got almost 2.5 weeks to be on display. So let's hope that everyone here today will go out and tell someone else about it. What they can do is come up here and see what's available to be seen, and we think that they will get a worthwhile information that enlighten them on how South Carolina participated in the revolution. And again, I want to thank Jennifer DAR and my connections and advisors for the Lancaster Commission and the Historical Commission. And I guess we ought to say thank you for Lancaster County for letting us host these, and Dr. Marshall, who we talked to make sure that this would be okay to come over here and do this. So again, we want to say thank you to the parties that was foremost in getting this put together and brought to Lancaster County for our residents to be able to look at and enjoy and learn about some of our history. And again, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. So as you visit the exhibit, take care to notice the Southern Campaign references, because the Southern Campaign was instrumental in securing the victory for the Patriots during the American Revolution. As it often says, without South Carolina's contributions, there would have been no Yorktown. Lancaster County itself was the site of several American Revolution engagements, and also produced several notable patriots. William Richardson Davie, who became the founder of the University of North Carolina, and Andrew Jackson, who became our 7th U.S. president. We hope that the exhibit will inspire pride in our county and their contributions to our nation's history. We are very grateful to the Lancaster County government, the new acquisition militia, the Andrew Jackson State Park, for their invaluable assistance in making this exhibit possible. And so now we would like to give the opportunity for a couple of our partners to be able to speak. So Eric Barnes. Eric is, he has a podcast where he talks to different people, primarily about the American Revolution and some other things. And he's also a graphic novelist and has produced several graphic novels about South Carolina and the American Revolution, and he has a book specifically on Hanging Rock and one specifically on Buford's Defeat. Eric?
For the adults, we do have a podcast. We sit down with people who've done great research. Some of the people have been on my podcast that are sitting here today. And I see Trey Dunaway in the back, part of the Southern campaigns and the big battle reenactment there in Camden. I know we'll want to speak with him. But for the kids, if you go around the state, if you go around the country, there does not seem to be a whole lot of things for the kids. I mean, you can go into a gift store and there's trinkets and, you know, a little puppet or something like that. But as far as something to educate them on what happened, I found that we're at a loss to educate the kids. And so I was like, well, how do we do that? Well, this goes to my education background. I love the Cliff Notes versions of all the big books in high school, right? So we have decided to come up with Cliff Note versions of a lot of these battles. And here in Lancaster, we have Buford's Quarter, which is Buford's Massacre right up here. We have the Shattering over at the table. That is Hanging Rock 2. We have Rocky Mount, or the Rocky Response, which actually Rocky Mount, and Hanging Rock 1 came off of that. You'll find little cameos of Andrew Jackson and William Davy and Andrew Jackson's mom, right over here.
Right over there.
Don't look. Elizabeth Jackson, right? So, I'm a Catawba River Valley native. So I grew up in Rock Hill, and my people were from Hickory and all the way up into the mountains, the Watauga area. And so this is near and dear to my heart. So we have done this, and we have gotten about we're working on our 10th one right now, and we're starting our the 10th one is going to be on Fort Thickety up in Cherokee County, and then we're doing the rise of Francis Marion. The first one is the Army of a Different Kind, and we've got a few more stories we're getting ready to make. And we're trying to take those. This is, if you go and talk to a teacher, they don't even work with books anymore. Do they, Mr. Courier? No. They don't work with books anymore, right? So the 250th understands that. And so they're taking these and turning them into digital copies and making them free for every school child, right? We're taking it a step further. And we're hoping to be able to animate each one of these. Give some background actors and actresses, background noises, and kind of make it a 15-minute presentation that the kids will really enjoy and can feed off of. And it used to be people would sit and listen to a speaker for hours. John C. Calhoun was known as a great orator, right? And they would sit and listen to him for hours. And now we got 15 seconds to give everything we can give. So we're trying to reconstitute the genre of the comic books and then build on that and try to get it to the kids. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Jim.
Today we also have Liberty Live Education with us. They are going to be doing some programs at 1:30 and 2:30 this afternoon. And so I will introduce Dr. Trey Dunaway to talk about Liberty Live and Robert Ross.
They didn't tell me I'd be doing public speaking today. I would have addressed more appropriately. Robert is dressed appropriately, and I will transform from this outfit, which is what I used to move the cannon. We moved the cannon, so the cannon is now parked out front. I can't remember which way we pointed. We should point it to the north, shouldn't we? Cannons in the south should always be pointed to the north. But anyway, we are Liberty Live, which is the educational arm of Southern Campaign 1780. Southern Campaign 1780 was created 5 years ago in order to do the reenactment. Well, I'm proud to say after 5 years of our control of the reenactment, we are the largest annual force-on-force reenactment, Revolutionary War reenactment, in the entire nation. There are 3 groups, the British Brigade, the Brigade of the American Revolution, and the Continental Line. Those are the three national organizations that deal with reenactments and reenactors. And this year, every year, they have 2 battles. Each individual group has 2 individual battles. They can say, this is one of our national events. And as required, members have to attend one of those 2. Well, this year we were named national event for all 3 organizations. I don't know how else we could improve, but we continue to improve. And the reason we do what we do is to drive funding for Liberty Live. That's our educational branch. We do year-round education. It used to be for children, but the 250th said, no, we're going to change this kindergarten through 12 to kindergarten to death. So we are available to do educational programs. We've done bar mitzvahs. We've done gender reveal programs where pink or blue smoke comes out of the cannon. What you're going to see today is we're going to do a little vignette about 18th century medicine. That would be me. And then you have Robert here as militia, and also Tom Oblak, who is on his way, unshackled from the need to tow the cannon. I towed the cannon this morning. So he will be arriving later, and we will do a ballistics program in this space. And also, we do have the cannon downstairs. We are not allowed to shoot the cannon, I understand, which is just a great shame because it is perfectly safe. Black powder, beer, what could possibly go wrong? I was asked to make sure we had proper safety standards for our cannon, which is parked immobile. Unless somebody rolls it over their foot, it's pretty safe. But anyway, we do have the cannon outside so we can demonstrate to people and have them participate. We're big on participation. And I'll give you a little hint of what we've been up to. You know, when you have a Revolutionary War presentation, you can have tables like Robert set up with all these accoutrements, and you ask questions and all, and then you can do interactive stuff, which is what I'm going to be doing with medicine and what Tom does with the cannonading. But what we've developed is something called the battle in a box. This is how it works. We put kids through all the typical things you see in a Revolutionary War educational program, from a quill and ink pen signing of a document, but the document they sign is an enlistment document. And then they are given the actual oath of allegiance to become a soldier. Then their round hats become tricorn as they become a soldier. We teach them how to handle weapons. We do a medical program for them. And then once we get them all fitted out, usually that's where the program ends. You say, okay, well, this was nice. Oh, you shoot the cannon too. So it went in there one that's nice. But what's missing from that is what everyone always asks us for. They always call us up and say, hey, can you do a reenactment for us? And we say, well, it's a little bit more complicated than just setting up an afternoon to do a reenactment. It takes us a year to plan the one we do. But now we can actually say, yes, we can do a reenactment for you. We will supply artillery. We will supply cavalry. You just need to supply infantry. And they go, what do you mean? We said, well, your audience is infantry. So what we do is we have representational cavalry, which is stick horses with ears. If you push one ear, it whinnies, and if you push the other ear, it gallops. So that's our cavalry unit. It comes out of a box. Out of the same box comes cutouts of artillery, and that's the artillery division. And then what we do is we narrate an actual 18th century Revolutionary War battle where our troops chivvy the infantry, which are the people that are participating, the people that ask for the reenactment. We chivvy them around the different positions on the field. Some are British, they wear a red armband. Some are Patriot, they wear a blue armband. And we actually walk through in a choreographed fashion with narration the actual battle. Now this is very effective. We've done one of these programs at the Battle of Camden site. Who's been to the Battle of Camden site? Good. How many of you went on a guided tour of the Battle of Camden site? Less. And how many of you actually understand what happened at the Battle of Camden? Even less, because you go, well, you have to. That's your job. Or I wouldn't expect any less from that. But what happens is then you say, oh, over here there was a group of men that came this way, and then there were people over here, and then they fought and all this stuff. And by the time you're finished, you can't remember what happened. Well, let me tell you, when you walk through it, when you have the British lines as the participant, and they understand what happens when the Patriot left collapsed and ran away, because we get them to do that. In the middle of this battle, the narration, which is often me, I'll stop and I'll say, excuse me, right now, let's talk about feelings in the middle of this battle. You were a farmer 3 weeks ago. You don't have a bayonet. You've got a musket that you're not familiar with. And these guys over here, the British, they are the top fighters in the entire world. Arguably the best army in the world. And that's who's coming at you with bayonets. How do you feel about this? And they say, I'm kind of scared. I says, okay, and what would your natural inclination be? Run. Run! That's what they say. And we say exactly that. They say, turn around and run. You're out of the battle. You run. And then that collapses. The British wheel on the Patriot remaining right wing. That's the end of the battle. Everybody walks away understanding how that battle works. So we are developing one for Lancaster County because you did have that. What was that little battle called? Something about Mr. Buford. Yes, Buford.
Has other names too.
Yes. Well, we're going to have that choreographed. And again, it's scripted out. And by the time they finish with this, they understand how the battle went. So we can do anything from set up static displays to interactive things to full-blown battles where the participants are the reenactors in the battle. Anyway, that's all the time I'm going to take. We'll see you a little bit later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You want to talk about anything else I didn't mention?
I think Trey covered it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go back setting up and I'm going to change my clothes. Otherwise, I would have changed earlier, but I hadn't.
So this exhibit will go through January the 27th. We have a few